Good day everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is all about this beauty. The 150mm Denka no Hoto Heri. This one boasts the gorgeous, absolutely amazing uroshi or lacquered finish handle and saya. And today is all about patina. In this case, specifically for this knife, a lemon salad force patina. So before we dive into what I did to this knife, let's talk first a little bit about patina. What is patina, or what isn't patina? So patina is a form of rust. Now I know that might blow your mind, because when you think rust, you say, well, rust is bad for my knife, so why would patina not be bad? Great question, and we'll get there, but that's the first thing you should know. Patina is a, keyword, form of rust. Second thing that's really important, patina will normally arise in carbon steel knives, but it can also arise in stainless steel knives, right? Second mind-blown moment of the video. Now, why do I say patina can also arise in stainless knives? Stainless, not stain none. Stainless knives can still transform over time. They can still patina over time. It's more unlikely for it to happen because of their stainless properties, but essentially, if you gave me a stainless knife and I used it for, say, let's just exaggerate for a second and say 10 years. I took a picture on day one, and I took a picture 10 years later. If I take a look at some of the discoloration happening around the blade, we'll get into it a bit later, oxidation, that is a form of patina. So if someone tells you that you can't have patina in a stainless knife, essentially that's wrong. It's more unlikely for you to even visibly see it, because in a carbon steel knife, the reason we tend to associate patina and carbon steel is because that transformation is more evident. Okay, so let's start with those facts. Patina is a form of rust, and patina can happen in carbon steel knives and stainless steel knives, but is more common and more pronounced in a carbon steel knife. So when I say a lemon salad force patina, what do I mean? Well, there's a few ways to exercise to create patina. As we use our knives naturally, they will patina over time. But again, now we need to understand, well, Frank, you said it's a form of rust, so what is patina? Patina is oxidizing of a steel in a way that it helps it further protect it from the more deleterious or detrimental rust. When we think rust, we think corrosion. We think eating away at the steel. If I'm using this knife to make a lemon salad, which I did do, and you'll see footage. If I'm using this knife to make a lemon salad and I'm slicing lemons, what's happening chemically? Now, it's pretty complicated, and I wrote to my chemist friend so that he can try to simplify it for me, but it's still pretty complicated, but here's the gist of it. So what's happening when you're cutting a lemon is that the lemon juice is losing an oxygen atom to the carbon steel. So an oxygen atom from the lemon juice bonds with the carbon steel. For it to bond with the carbon steel, an electron from the carbon steel is bonding to that oxygen atom, which is now part of the steel, called oxidation. And that means that that electron that was lost chemically changes the molecular structure of the blade in a way that now it can more easily interact with other ingredients in its environment. I do air quotes when I say ingredients in its environment, because even just the touching of that new molecular structure from the steel with the air can lead to an exchange, and that's how you start to get this discoloration. But patina, being a form of rust, is not the most toxic variation of rust. The most toxic variation of rust is corrosion, when rust leads to eating up the steel. It's almost the other way around, in the sense that when we're cutting a lemon for the lemon salad, an atom is being donated to the carbon steel, but bad rust is when you're losing material from that carbon steel. That's why it's eating away at it, right? So patina is good because it protects your knife from further developing into worst forms of rust, ultimately corrosion, which would eat away at it. So that's kind of the science 101 behind rust, how to avoid it, but why patina is helpful, and what essentially is happening when you're cutting mainly acidic foods. Because it's when cutting these acidic foods that that oxygen atom is more readily donatable to the carbon steel. Or again, I did mention in the beginning, it can happen with the stainless too, but just less likely. Now, I have noticed with time and with many different knives that have different types of carbon steels that depending on the carbon steel, you do tend to have different patterns of patina formation, as in you could almost expect a certain pattern or what the look might be depending on the steel. Yes, there are going to be variations depending on the heat treatment, who's the knifesmith behind using even the same steel, but say a steel like 1.2519 steel on my Kiritsuki from Slovenia, that one it really gives me a bit of like a rainbow type patina. Or if I'm thinking of, I think the Lynn Valley Forge chef knife, the 1080 steel, that one, the patina is much more hues of blues and purples, whereas the patina on this Aogomi Super Denka Petty is really just kind of black. And so depending on the steel, you will get these different patterns. And that's why it's fun to own different knives with different carbon steels so that you can see how the patina changes over time and how also certain steels have certain patina forming properties. When you have patina, it actually helps prevent rust. When we think rust, it's bad because we think corrosion, right? Eating away at the steel. But when we say patina, we don't say it's bad, we say it's good. Why? Because it helps prevent the next stages, which are going to be that rust and that corrosion. And so patina, because of that, because of the fact that it keeps your blade from rusting, and it also does have a visually, aesthetically pleasing look for most kitchen knife enthusiasts, people try to force patinas. Now you can have it happen naturally just by using your knife over time. Again, it will happen more likely in a carbon steel knife, but in this case I wanted to force it, and I've seen a few ways that it's been forced. Probably the most common is a coffee forced patina. You take some really bad coffee, like Folgers, no offense Folgers, but your coffee's pretty bad. It does serve a purpose, like camping or forcing a patina. And you dilute it, you put your blade in a big jar, making sure that there's something at the bottom so that the tip doesn't just strike the bottom of the jar, and people leave it over from an hour to I've seen over 24 hours. And you'll end up with a patina, so the darkening of the cutting edge, that's going to be carbon steel. And I find that coffee etched patinas tend to be really, really dark. And I thought, okay, well, that's what everyone's doing. What if I told you instead that there's a dish that you can make? The benefit to making that dish is you get to eat it, and the second benefit to that is you end up with a patina. Well, I thought, what better than a lemon salad, right? Lemon has so much acidity to it that depending on the type of carbon steel on top of that you're using, it really takes so little effort to create that natural patina. You don't need to leave it overnight in a jar of coffee or even 1 or 2 hours. You get to use your knife, you get to enjoy your knife because you're using it. You're making a lemon salad, which is delicious, by the way. You just got to use the right lemons, Sicilian lemon, or I would recommend the Mayer lemon. Both sweeter than your typical lemons that are very astringent and what we know as being very acidic, right? It kind of hurts if you were to grab a spoonful of lemon juice and swallow it. I've done it. I'm sure you've done it. But it kind of rubs the throat the wrong way on the way down. Why? Because of how acidic it is. Something like a Mayer lemon, Sicilian lemon, much sweeter, much milder, but it still has that citric acid, which is what's going to cause that patina. And so that's what I did to create a patina on this Denka Petty. Now, it was more of an experiment. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. You know, do I have to tell the viewers, yeah, you got to make 10 lemon salads? Well, who wants to eat 10 lemon salads? And who wants to eat 10 lemon salads in a row or 10 days in a row, right? I wanted something that was going to be effective within 30 minutes of prep time, for example, right? Because you got to remove the pit, you got to slice the lemon. So there's a bit of prep time required, but so does making all food. So there you have it. That was essentially kind of my roundabout way of describing what patina is, what it isn't, how it's valuable, and a way that you can use your knife to create a meal that's absolutely delicious. I'll put the recipe in the comments below so you can see how to make the salad. It's fairly simple. It's really very, very delicious. It has some red chili flakes. It has a bit of sweetness, and you can literally just eat the lemons on its own because it's a lemon salad. Bonus, you get the patina on the knife that shows up. And so that was my way of testing it. Did it work? Yes. It could have been a little bit darker. I like that it's dark, almost like a coffee patina, but more subtle, more transparent. But at the same time, I got the patina that I wanted. And so this has been your episode of Lemon Salad Forced Patina. I hope you learned something. If I was wrong somewhere when I was describing the transfer of electrons or oxygen, I apologize. Let me know below. It's a little difficult for me to... I mean, I am an ecologist or wildlife biologist, and I love chemistry, But it's been a while, and so I went back to the books. I went back to my friend who is a chemist. But that's pretty much the wrap up of how this went. I absolutely love this knife. I love carbon steel knives. I too love when a good patina forms on some knives. I'll show you up on screen some of my favorite knives that have developed beautiful patinas. There does seem to be a pattern in terms of steels. Some steels patina more than others. Some steels are more patchy than others in the way they patina. But then the biggest factor is really going to be how are you using your knife. So we talked about coffee as a way to force a patina. Now we're talking about lemon salad. If you cut a pineapple, you also get a patina. Just cutting onions. With onions, I find that my patina gets spotty a lot because you'll have onion pieces that stick to the knife, and if it stays there even 30 seconds more than part of the carbon steel that is exposed to air as opposed to kind of being stuck on an onion, you get these patchy frameworks. But again, if it was more of a mono steel blade instead of the stainless steel clad, then I think I would like it more because that patchiness would be throughout the whole blade instead of just the cutting edge where sometimes it just looks like a circle. So that's it. I absolutely love this knife. It's been a pleasure to learn a way to force a patina that isn't coffee. Now, the etching video using ferric chloride to etch, I wouldn't really use that to patina a knife, right? Now, it's called etching because it's supposed to help bring out the layers of steel that are maybe sometimes more subtle, not always visual to the naked eye, and so you kind of increase the look or the contrast of Damascus by etching with something like ferric chloride. Especially if you're using it in the kitchen, that ferric chloride is quite toxic, so I don't think I want to be dipping all my knives in ferric chloride. I also haven't really figured out if that toxicity would like transfer to your food the first few times, or maybe that's why you're putting in the baking soda to neutralize. But yeah, that's it. Patina is super interesting. Maybe, I'd love it if you found me on Instagram at TheFrancoAllo and you sent me your favorite patina pick. I have lots of knives that have beautiful patinas. This is just one of them. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and see you next time.